Yeah.
Okay, welcome
right.
one and all to our session. Sorry about that. Welcome once again to our session on water management part 2.
Oh no. Forget about it. Okay. It's a work in progress, babe. It's a work in progress.
So welcome to our session on now. Before we go any further, we're going to tell you a little bit about ourselves once again.
You're gonna do that.
Okay. So what do? We are Narrowway Life, and you can feel free to visit our social media pages or our website or email us at narrowwaylife@gmail.com. So one of the things that we do, we have a prayer line that is for spiritual support and encouragement, especially for those who seek to move out into the country. Those seeking for land or just need some encouragement. We share testimonies, and we also read the word to encourage us as we walk along this pathway. We also have country living consultations at all stages of the journey. So whether it be you are looking for land, you just heard the message and you're interested, we help at all stages. You could be already in the country and setting up. Come a little closer. So you could be in the country and starting to set up, or you have already set up. We also assist in these areas as well. So feel free to contact us. Visit our website and shoot us an email, and we will get back to you on how you can better where you at or give you another perspective.
Yeah, you could maximize the opportunities of your location.
Okay.
But you feel the back up.
Okay, so we also help with property development and planning, and also home constructions and furnishings. So you're out in the country, and most times out in the country you away from, you're very remote sometimes. So we offer, especially in St. Lucia, home construction and furnishings. So we also design homes, so you could see a 3D design of what idea you have for your home.
I'll be using one tonight.
Oh yes. We will be using one tonight to show you a rain harvesting system. So stay tuned, invite your friends, you still got time. So you don't want to miss this. We also provide outdoor recreation for...
You still didn't put the pictures though.
Oh yeah. For development of skills and for being more comfortable in nature. And this is one of the things that we've noticed. When you are outdoors, whether it be a camp or a hike, you are more comfortable to move out in the country when you have that experience. When you're out on a hike and you get to know the places, it's a little bit more comfortable for you to move out in the country when the time comes. So these are some of the things that we do. We offer seminars like this one, and also skills training. And I cannot wait for the time when we can actually do hands-on training, where you can actually see and be there with the equipment, feel it. When it comes to rain harvesting, you can actually be there and see the system work. But by God's grace, so that time will come. We offer Bible studies. It used to be every Thursday, but since we have this country living seminar and it's going to go on till November 18, we have paused on the Bible studies for now. But this is where we get into the word and learn a little bit more about country living and other topics as well. We also assist families in finding property. We're actually on a property today.
Yeah, that's why we stuck somewhere. So, I can digress? No?
No, well, okay. It was fun. Let me tell you, visiting properties and taking families to see properties is just a joy, a love.
And that's why we didn't make it home.
So this is one of the things that we love to do. It's our passion. It's somewhat like hiking, you know, and exploring nature. So this is something else that we do, and especially in the Caribbean. So
it's especially seeing somewhere for the first time. That's my favorite part of the exploration. I love that.
So in showing families country properties, especially those who are considering to move out into the St. Lucia, give us a call. message us through our website or through our for our email, and we will message you. So our country living quote for today. It's taken from the book Country Living, and it reads, let everyone take time to consider carefully and not be like the man in the parable who began to build and was not able to finish. Not a move should be made, but that movement and all that it portends are carefully considered. Everything weighed, so every man was given his work according to his several abilities. Then let him not move hesitantly, but firmly and yet humbly trusting in God. I'll continue.
There may be individuals who will make a rush to do something and enter into some business they know nothing about. This God does not require. Think candidly, prayerfully, studying the word with all carefulness and prayerfulness, with mind and heart awake to hear the voice of God. To understand the will of God is a great thing.
So we see here that you should do the planning necessary. And we will do the planning necessary so that we can ensure that we have things in place. So when the time comes, we have things already set up and we have things. And one of the passages that I love in this one is not a move should be made, but that movement and all that it portends are carefully considered.
And this is why we're doing this session as well. We want to show people, hey, there's a lot to consider when moving to the country. It's not just let's move and all is going to be all right. God is just going to miraculously provide. No, we need to consider all that is, what it says, all the movements and all that it portends.
So everything that it entails.
Yeah.
So rain harvesting is one of them. So let us start considering it.
So let's get into it now. You have me in suspense.
All right, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
So one more passage before we go. More and more as time advances, our people will have to leave the cities. For years, we have been instructed that our brethren and sisters, and especially families with children, should plan to leave the cities as the way opens before them to do so. Many will have to labor earnestly to help open the way. And we have said, yes, Lord, we want to labor earnestly to help open the way for families to move out of the city, into the country, into a place where you, let me tell you, that location we were just at, that river, we can stay there for days.
That's why we late to get home again.
We can stay there for days. So let us start our session.
Yeah. So water management part 2. And we're looking at rain harvesting. Now, would you love to do a little revision?
Yes, let us do a little revision before we go. So yesterday we did what is water management, observation of water, assessing our water needs, the interventions that we would need to take into consideration if we're going to change the water interaction. And tonight we are going to look at rain harvesting. So we're going to go through what we did yesterday, and then we're going to add on the rain.
Can you do what we did yesterday quite quickly? Like?
Oh, yes, we will.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that. So what we're gonna do, you're gonna help me do this because you were there yesterday. So you're gonna help me to go through what we actually studied yesterday, and then we're gonna add on rain harvesting. And I'm hoping you guys came with all your questions so that we can answer them all. Okay. So water management is the activity or movement and control of water resources to minimize the damage to property and life and to maximize the efficient beneficial usage.
Yes.
So
use it for your benefit and mitigate damages that it may cause left on its own.
yes, so water is extremely important and we understand that, and that is why we need to observe. And the first thing that we stated, we need to observe our water. We need to observe how the water operates on the property so that we can know how best and how we can make the interventions or the changes that we would like to make. So for example, we saw that we had to look at the entry points of the water, the exit places of the water. Where is it collecting, if any? Is it slowing down in any area? Is it drying quickly in some of the areas? Is it moving quickly? And if in cases that it's moving quickly, we may find erosion. So these are some of the things that we looked at. One of the things that we observed is that when water moves too quickly in a property, you can have erosion. And what we do not want water to go too quickly through our property. Instead, we want it to slowly sink into the soil. So this is one of the things that we saw yesterday. When we assess what we're noticing in the area, on our property, we have to assess our water needs. How much water do we need to do the things that we need to do? Is it only for recreational purposes, or is it only for agriculture? Do we have an industry that requires a lot of water? And we're going to be looking at aquaponics tomorrow. So then we can adjust our understanding of how much water we would really need. So this is something that we have to take into consideration as well as we are observing the water on our country properties. So what do we seek to do? What is our aim? No matter what we are considering to do, we want to slow our water down to let it sink into the soil, and we need it to spread. So we don't want it to sink in one area, we want to spread it around the earth.
The entire property.
Just give us a little bit of an understanding of why the differences between a development and a country property as it pertains to water.
Okay. Well, yesterday we went for that, and I was saying that in the developments that we have now, we cover the surfaces of the earth with a lot of impermeable, I think that's the word, surfaces that the water cannot get through, kind of weak through. So what we have, because of that, most of the water stays on the surface. So to resolve that, we build drains. And when we build drains, we get the water out as quickly as possible so it doesn't flood. And then we get a bill to then pump this water back onto the property. So we get the water out as quickly as possible, we prevent it from seeping, and then we pump it back and we pay a bill to get it back onto the property. However, the better approach would be for us to be able to slow down the water, have it infiltrate the ground. So then our trees, our grasses, our herbs, all our vegetation will grow better. And even our aquifers will be recharged. And you will be seeing springs that were dead or rivers that were dead coming back to life. We will change our approach.
Okay, so then what are aquifers?
Aquifers are water reservoirs under the earth.
All right. So when we allow our waters to slow down and sink in, we are restoring the waters that we have.
The groundwater.
The groundwater. Thank you so much for that. So this is something that we seek to do. So ultimately, we want to slow our water down and sink it in, but we want it to also be spread in more than just one area.
Because it is expensive to irrigate mechanically. So if you could have passive systems that irrigate for you, then that's a better solution, but dollar for dollar.
Okay, so as we realize that this is what we aim to do, and the reason this is our aim is because we would like to have green forests and green gardens. So we can store the water, as we said, under in our aquifers, or we can store it above ground.
And that's what we're going to do today.
So today we're going to look at rain harvesting, which is storing water above ground. Yesterday we looked at storing water below, which were our swales, where we can allow the water to travel and spread on the land through the contours and able to sink in to more areas than if it was just settled in one particular area. So tonight we're going to look at rain harvesting.
So I just put the definition. Rain harvesting is the collection and storage of rain rather than allowing it to run off. Okay, it's the collection of rain instead of allowing it to run off. Rain harvesting is the collection from a roof, like surface, and undirected to a tank, cistern, deep pits, well shaft, borehole, aquifer, is taking the water and storing it for your usage. That's basically the idea. Now, it's different from stormwater harvesting because stormwater would mean that the water had already moved across the land and maybe even done damage to some of the places. So, one look at rain harvesting. Now, in harvesting water from the sky, you can also harvest dew. There's dew harvesting as well. Places that have deserts. However, sometimes in the day, maybe dawn and dusk or in the evening, there is dew that's moving around. So there's a way to harvest that dew. There's also fog harvesting. So you may be in a desert. However, there are times of the year or times of the day that the moisture moves around above the surface and you could harvest the fog. Here's another picture with an example of fog harvesting. Now, guys, it'd be lovely if you guys ask questions. Have the information is in my head. Not everything is on the PowerPoint like I told you last night. So questions are welcome. So just raise your hand and ask your question. Now, with regards to rain harvesting, there are very simple ways to rain harvest. Very simple way. All you need is a gutter, guttering. Yeah, you need a roof. You need rain gutters, some kind of pre-filter. The picture doesn't have one, but you need some kind of mesh to keep the mosquitoes, the toads, the frogs, the debris, leaves, what have you, keep it out. And you need down pipes to get the water to the collection or storage container. A roof, filter. The filter can either be in the guttering or the filter can be on the storage container. Guttering and down pipes and guttering, and you're good. Okay. However, they have way more complex rain harvesting systems, and that's what we're going to look at today. So all right. So they have automated systems that require advanced setup and installation. So you could get computerized. I mean, there's no limit. Well, the limit is your imagination, maybe your funds. Yeah, but there's no limit to how complex or how stress-free or labor-free, I guess you could say, that your rain harvesting system can be. So here's a simple diagram of what a more complex rain harvesting system is, and I will explain it as we go along. So here we have the roof, and here we have a leaf eater or leaf diverter. All right. Then you have a first flush system. That's where the bulk of the dirty water gets into, and then you have your storage tank, and you pump it through a filter into your house. Complex, a little more complex than just the guttering, but we can get better systems than that. All right. So let me just explain the part of the rain harvesting system so that everybody can understand. Now, I don't just explain a roof. I believe everybody knows what a roof is. If you do not know, this is a rain gutter. All right. This is a rain gutter. Can you add me to know? Okay. Now, a pre-filter. A pre-filter. This is a picture of a pre-filter. The benefits of a pre-filter is one, it shuts your system. So then you have a closed system. So then no other than water or tiny particles. No mosquitoes, no leaf, no debris can get into your system. That's a closed system. So the pre-filter is the after the rain guttering, because I'm actually doing it in order. After the rain guttering, and then you have your small downspouts, then the pre-filter would be the next thing. Now you could see they could have covered pre-filters, and they could have pre-filters that are uncovered. They have pre-filters that are just.
So feel free to ask questions, raise your hand, post your
Well,
questions
we
in the
can't
chat.
see the hand for that.
I can still answer them.
You put on, okay.
Yes. So feel free to ask your questions at any point that you have them. So right now we're going through the parts of a rain harvesting
and then we're
system.
going to look at the actual system.
And then we're going to look at the actual system and
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah.
So at any point in the system, and we want to do it as basic as possible so that you can choose to do it at home.
Yeah.
Or if this is too much for you, you can contact us and we can help you with that process.
All right. So next part of the system, we want to look at the first flush diverter. I'll say it again. A first flush diverter. And it looks something like that.
What is it supposed to do?
Divert first flush.
Wow. So what is in what?
All right. So let me explain. So everybody can see the mouse, right? That's
or we can just get the red
okay.
pointer
That's the laser pointer.
The laser pointer.
Yeah, laser pointer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, everybody can see that. So the rain from the gutter, it already passed through the first flush filter. No, the what's it name again? I forgot the name now.
The
pre-filter. That's what it is. It already passed through the pre-filter, and now the water is coming to into your system. Now, when it rains, when it does not rain, there would be dust and debris that would be collecting on your roof. There would maybe even be bird droppings because the birds are bathing in the water. What do you do? How do you get rid of that water? Now, the initial rainfall would come down into this chamber. So that chamber there would have all the debris, all the maybe bird droppings, I don't know, the dust especially, the clean of the roof. And when it gets filled, there's a little flotation device in there that goes up and block the end of the fitting here. After that fitting is blocked, then the water will transfer into your pipe. Now there's another example of it right here. Now you would still need some way of emptying out this chamber. Okay, here's another example of it. The water comes through. It can't jump to the other end because there's a hole there. It comes down through this pipe. Then the ball shuts off whatever debris went in so that it doesn't continue to be part of your system. It shuts it off. However, with this system, you will have to remember and manually take off that water and use it. Now that water is perfect for watering your garden.
Yes. Yes.
If you tell it has dust in it, there's maybe bird droppings in it, it has maybe fragments of leaves or whatever, that water will be perfect for watering your garden because it would be the water that has the things that you don't want to drink. And your garden wants it, but you just don't want it.
All right, we have our hands up. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, nice family. That ball.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. I understand when you come off the gutter, you come through your pre-filter, and you try to clear the dust and the poop.
Yeah.
How that ball work? I'm trying to figure out how that ball work.
The ball floats in on the surface of the water. So as the water is full, let me go to the other slide. As the water is filling, the ball floats on the surface. Oh, my slide is not looking good. It has to be higher.
Okay, so let me do a little bit of editing.
As the water surface rises, all the debris falls. If you see the white particles there, all the debris falls in the bottom.
So the water would go in around the sides.
Yes.
And keep
and
as
the ball,
it
the ball
keeps
keeps
going
floating up
until it gets
everything is falling down on the sides of the ball, and the ball keeps floating up. When the ball gets all the way up to the top here, if you look on the top here, it will shut. The ball will shut off the system.
So no water can go back in
No
here.
water can continue going inside
It
there.
has to continue.
Yeah.
through
So
here.
all the debris would be trapped in that first little chamber. Now that chamber can be whatever size you want.
It can be whatever, yeah, it can be whatever size and
yeah, it could be whatever size you want.
series.
Yeah, it could be a series of them, and we'll get to that just now. However, it should be sized based on the size of your roof.
Yeah.
Based on how much water your roof produces.
So this is I mean, this is
yeah, that's a homemade one. That's one just using PVC pipe and fittings. So you can build it yourself. We build ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we build ours.
Ours is much longer than
way
this one.
longer than this one.
So your size, it depends on you, and that's why we encourage families, don't have trees near your home.
That's the other thing.
Near your roof.
Yes.
Because it maximizes the amount of debris you would have in your first flush.
So if you want to rain harvest, you should not have trees overhanging your roof or close enough that the leaves and would fall on your gutter, because that was just gonna clog up the system. And even having leaves on the pre-filter would prevent a lot of the water from getting in. All right.
What was that? Did we answer your question?
So that ball, what kind of ball that is?
Any rubber ball that can float. That's the one most important part, and that can shut completely, be shut completely for the size of the opening for whatever pipe size you use.
So you could probably you could get plastic balls as well.
Yeah.
There's the plastic balls that are hollow in the inside. Yeah. These work.
Yes. But what you want, the ball needs to be able to shut off the system so that whatever debris goes down into the first flush diverter, that first chamber is the first flush diverter. So the first set of rain flushes the entire rain collecting system and goes in there, and you want to seal it off so that it doesn't continue into your water tank. I see a question in the chat now.
So you could, you know that ball that goes into the flow tank or in the top of the toilet?
Yes, you could use that ball as well. You could use that ball as well, but you need it for the size of pipe that you're going to use.
Yeah. So if you decide to use a small pipe, you need a ball for the pipes you're going to use.
Yeah. The only thing about that ball, I would still keep part of the metal, well, some kind of weight on it so that it always floats with the screw end down. That's the only thing I'll do. Because if it floats irregularly, then it might not seal off the top of the pipe.
Yes, I love what the person said in the chat. The ball has to be a bit smaller than the pipe to allow the leaves
to fall around it. Yes.
So if you understand the concept here, the ball is on the purpose for the ball is to block this when this chamber is filled. Right? So this is the purpose the ball serves. So it has to first allow water and the debris to go around, but it's supposed to block this at the end.
That's why I like this picture more, because it's gonna float. It shows the ball floating.
Okay. So this one,
So here's an example of the ball there. But that chamber, you need to be able to drain it from the bottom, man. You need to be able to flush it. That's why they call it the first flush system. So every time it rains, you need to be able to flush off that system and get that water out.
Yeah. And this is where it comes in handy for you to use it for your gardening purposes, because that would be a nice little compost tea with your leaves.
Exactly called compost tea.
Well, not maybe compost tea, but it's nice water.
Yeah, it's nice water for gardening. Because there's a lot of minerals in there.
Okay.
So next you would need, sorry.
One question, why you have the drums that distance that look like about 15 feet or 10 feet from the house?
Oh, from the house?
No, there's no reason why I have it that far from the house. That's just where
it's a design for a little bit of what our home kind of looks like.
You just don't want it resting on the wood of the house, because it would cause mildew to build on the walls of the house.
So the distance you choose.
Yeah, you just don't want it to splash water onto the wood. That's about all.
And the pipes for it is actually running underground.
Yeah, but we'll get to that.
But we have a 3D demonstration of that picture, so you're gonna get to see it in detail.
But thanks for the question.
Okay.
All right. Cool. So next we're gonna get to our storage containers. Now, really, creativity is your friend. Creativity is your friend. So I have pictures of persons using the what size is that again? That's not 5 gallon. Huh? What's that?
This one?
Yeah.
50?
The 50 gallon.
I-
Yeah, the
I think
50 gallon
so.
drum. Yeah, I think it's 50 gallon drum. The person made a filter. He made their own filter. The first flush diverter, I think maybe, but they made it some kind of way. I don't fully understand it. Um, there's also those that we know of. There's another way somebody used the 50 gallon drums. They are them upside
The
down.
barrels. Yeah.
And if you know the places that that get screwed on, they are fittings. I'm not sure if it's inch and a quarter fittings. I'm not sure that can just screw in on there, and you could use them for rain harvesting. However, do not use the ones that carried dangerous chemicals. Somebody, okay, somebody actually put in a link for first developer. All right, so wonderful. Thank you for that link. So then the best, absolute best water tanks are the stainless steel water tanks for health purposes, absolute best, but I have never seen it in my country. I've never seen it. So that's not even an option for me. However, what the rule is for water storage is to prevent light from hitting the water. Because if I said that last night, when light hits the water, you get osmosis. The water gets green, algae starts to grow in. It looks like they have roots if it lives long enough, and that all your pipes will get clogged, and the water will maybe even smell horrible. I don't know. Yeah, so you do not want that. You want the water to stay fresh, and you do not want light in it. The only place the light comes in, we'll get to that just now. There is a place for light, however, but we'll get to that just now. So, however, the drums is based on what you can get, what you can afford. If you could get the stainless steel drums, I'm jealous of you, but I won't hold it against you. All right, so yeah. So added to that, everything's good there. So what else we need? We need a pump. If you there's a way you could do the upgrade. However, you need after running the water through your filters. Well, no, you need to be able to. If you're gonna run micron filters, that's coming up next. You need to have a pump to be able to run that water through the filters, because gravity would take a long time to get the water through that filter. And the other thing is, if you allow gravity to do the work for you, then that means the whatever tank is after the first tank would have to be lower. And if you lower in the water, then you have problems using gravity to get it where you need it to be. But we'll get to that in a while. So you need pumps. Here's an example of pump. This is rain things you need for rain harvesting. This is how can I see this inscription? So this is a well pump. Okay, this is a manual. You crank on it. So you can maybe have one of these. Try to find a way. Be smart. Have one of these inside your home, and you could pressurize the water, have it through your system, have it run through the filters and everything. And if you off grid, no power, that's one of the ways you could pump your water into your home. This is a hand powered pump. That's two different pumps, by the way. We also have a well pump. I think that's a well pump. Yeah, that's a well pump, where the bottom of it is submerged in water. It hangs down all the way into the water. And when you put it on using the wire, it pumps the water back up through a hose, and you could have water. So that pump can be submerged in the water. I've never seen this anywhere before. I actually found it when I was in the research. I think you spin that cylinder, that's steering that round thing. I don't know what to call it. The crank, maybe the crank or the wheel. Yeah, the wheel, and it would pump the water for you. And the one we most not famous, the one we most familiar with are those kind of pumps that can do more high pressure and move more volume of water in less time. All right, so why do you need a pump? You need a pump if you are going to run micron filters. That is filters that take out the things you cannot see. All right, those filters you need, we'll get to filters in a while. So you need a pump to be able to pressurize the water through the filter. And the better the filter, the more pressure it takes to run the water through. There's ceramic filters, well, yeah, and micron filter, but we'll get to that. Now, in your rain harvesting system, what's that? I'll look at that. If you do not have high-tech filters, there are some low-tech filters you can use. And as an example, this company is LifeStraw. I highly recommend them. If nobody ever heard about it, if you camping and you know, yeah, that would be part of your survival kit. So here's a picture on the left, that's the left, of some children drinking from whatever water they could find, but using the LifeStraw, they were able to filter that water and make it drinkable. I think the LifeStraw is good for 1,000 gallons, if I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can check out their website. It's a very good survival straw.
Yeah.
The one you could it filters. It has a filter in the straw. So when you drink the water,
Yeah.
it filters it through the straw. So that's just one of the types of filters that they provide. And this is one that we recommend, especially for those who putting together a first aid kit or a survival kit. This is one of the things you want to add in there.
So instead of carrying 1,000 gallons on your back, you carry this one LifeStraw and you could make 1,000 gallons of water drinkable. I mean, the better the water, the condition, in the picture they show you the dirty water, but the better the quality of the water, then the longer your filter would last. All right, so keep that in mind. Here's another example of a bottle. Like you could just unscrew the bottle, put the water in, close it, be on the move, and you have the filter in there. I don't know if you could see here, but the filter is right inside of there. All right. Now there is also this company that makes what's it name? Well, everybody knows Brita. Brita has been there for a long time. That's another way, a low-tech way that you could just store the water, no pumps, no anything, have it run into your house using gravity. And when you get to the house, you could use a Brita to filter it, or could use what's the name? B something. But Buckley's, I think. Some Buckley's filter. Check it out. That's the name. I can zoom. What about Hiker Pro? I do not know Hiker Pro. Yes, that's a Buckley Watersfield. All right, thank you guys. But yes, I see a hand.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Sister White talks about drinking pure, soft water.
Yes.
My understanding is that when you filter water, you may get it pure but not necessarily soft. What guidance can you give us if you're acquainted with that area?
Yeah.
As well as softened water?
Well, as far as what I understand about soft water is basically rainwater. Is the water as closest to nature has given it to you. My limited understanding is that water that has been interfered with, making it alkaline. What else?
And you can, I believe you can filter water too much.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Well, because we come from a place where we know what filtered water is like, bottled water, all of this, the best tasting water I have ever had is the rain harvested water. And we don't do any vigorous filtration.
The thing is, filtration does not change the condition or the state of the water. All it does is it takes out the microbes and viruses or debris or microparticles that's in the water. That's all it does. It doesn't change the water from being acid to alkaline. It doesn't change it from being hard to soft. It doesn't do any of that. All it does is take out the things that you can't see that may cause you harm. That's what it does, because you don't always know the condition of the water that you get it. You don't always know the condition of the roof that you harvesting the water from. So it is a good idea to filter that water. However, for 7 years now, I've not been filtering water. I'll explain the kind of filtration I do. I'm doing filtration, but it's not the ones I'm showing there currently. So I will explain my kind of filtration just now. It's a simple way. But yeah, we'll get to that just now. Thank you for the question though, Sister Daisy. And I'll look up a little more on that water system. But I know that rainwater is pure water. Yes.
It's something I'm researching, but I'm still in the initial stages of my research.
Yeah, we want to do a little bit more research.
But believe me, if the Lord made it, the Lord provided it, then it's the water we should drink. That's how that's my. Oh yeah, the other thing I do is readily available. That's one of the rules. If it's readily available, provided by the Lord, then it is for us to drink. However, The condition of the roof is where the issue is. Whether birds are
Yeah.
in there or not, that's the issue.
Yeah, I believe in rainwater,
Yeah.
but then again, my concern is what happens on the roof. That has always been my
Yes,
Yes, exactly,
yes.
exactly.
And somebody brought another point
Yeah.
up. What about the acid rain?
Rain is supposed to be acid. I don't understand. What the issue is, the chemicals and the pollution in the air. That's what the issue is. But rain is acid. Rain is acid. Rain is not alkaline. Water should not be alkaline. As a matter of fact, you have to do something to the water to get into to be alkaline, and that's a misnomer. That's something. Somebody branded this alkaline water thing to make money. No, God provided acidic rain. The rain is
Well,
acidic.
One of the issues that
Mhm.
you can have with rain, and I'm guessing that's probably what you may be
Because
referring
of the
to,
location, yeah.
is the location
Mhm.
and yes, the pollution, the
That's
acid
right.
rain due to pollution.
Oh yeah. So
yeah,
then disclaimer, other things I'm saying about rain harvesting
that's in the country.
is for people who live in the country,
Yes, where
away from the pollution. I should have said that.
yes, because
Yeah.
one of the things that persons who live in the country have an advantage of,
Yeah.
the trees filter the
Mhm.
air.
Yeah.
So you already have
Mhm.
one form of filtration
Mhm.
going on, so that
Mhm.
when the rain actually falls, you are not collecting that filtration in your
Yes.
water.
The other thing too, like let me just say that because the question come up. I do not drink every rain that falls. We do not use that water for drinking. Our system is designed in a way that the light showers never make it to the chamber where we drink the water. Light showers get stored in the first flush. Light shower get into the first. I have
First storage
the first
chamber.
storage chamber, but it never makes its way to the second
drinking
the
water.
drinking water. The only water that makes it to drinking water is after it rains for a long time. The sky has been cleaned already. The water has run through everything. I maybe even flushed the first flush a couple of times already. Then when that first tank is full, then the cleaner water, which is on the surface, I'll explain that in a while, it gets all the way to the tank where we drink the water. So yeah, so that's wonderful.
Yeah, so this system assists in, for example, even in the country you have the Sahara dust and all of this dust that is being in the
I will
air.
not, no, that water will not make it way into,
Yeah. So there's still processes that you can go through where it depends on how much rain that falls. There is a cleaning up that happens in the air, and that set of rain you need to allow for your garden or for some other purpose versus instead of drinking.
Yes. So then in rain harvesting, the more storage you have, the better for your system. If your system is full when it drizzles, then your system is too small. If your system, if it's a slight drizzle fills your water system, then you need more storage than that. You need storage that it would take a heavy shower to full the system, and then the very last chamber, maybe the one before you filter the water would be the one you can use for drinking. Yeah, and the one after you filter the water. But just to show filters here, I see no hands. Here's another filtration system from Livestraw again. It's called Livestraw Community. Livestraw Community, and you pour the water in, and you use the crank to run the water through the filter, and you can collect the water in the bottom.
These are some of the things that we use. Like, for example, if we're camping out for a very long period of time and there's a water source in the area, you can use one of those.
Yeah, especially if you do not know the condition of the water source.
Yeah. So I think we used this one at a camp that we went to. We spent, I think it was 4 days, and there were like probably 10 people.
No, the one you had was the hand pump one.
Oh, the hand pump. Yeah,
it
wasn't this one exactly. So this is one of the things that you can use in such a situation, and it's a different type of filter.
Yeah. So the Livestraw will take water like this and turn it into water like this. So that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what the filtration does. The filtration takes off the dirt, the excrement, the microbes. It doesn't take out viruses, but it takes out the particles. Yeah. The particles.
So hopefully the water coming off your roof doesn't look like that.
Yeah, if it does, don't drink it. I mean, that goes without saying.
But filters assist with bringing the water from
these conditions.
to
Yeah.
a healthier condition.
Yeah. All right. So that's basically it. So then you still need to find water that you still need to check upstream to know that there is nothing dead in the water. Right? And the smell of the water is also a good indicator as well. If the water smells bad, no matter if you run through a filter or not, there are viruses in there.
Yeah.
All right. So don't drink that. Now, is a better system, more costly, but here's a better system. It has there are two versions. There's one in 2 chambers and there's another one in 3 chambers. Now I'm going to give a fast explanation. There are different levels of filtration. This is a microscopic way, but some filters, I'm very much exaggerating this. The particles on a maybe under a microscope might look like this size. Some particles smaller and smaller as you go by. So there's the cloth filtration. I think it's about 550 micro something. I forget the number. I'm so sorry. But there's also micron filters and there's a carbon filter. So this one there has a carbon filter on the right, and on the little silver thing there is a UV light, and the UV light is what kills the viruses. So the 2 chambers or the 3 chambers would filter out the gunk or the debris, but the last one here would filter out the viruses. So the UV light, sunlight does the same thing. The UV light, there's a light stick in there, and the UV light would kill the viruses. All right. So now then we go to, well, I already did storage tank. I explained it. The most important thing about a storage tank is that, well, 2 things I must say, but I think we don't have that problem anymore. You need to be there's plastic, there's a special coating of plastic that they put inside the tank. However, if you could get stainless steel water tanks, that's ideal. However, I've never seen it in St. Lucia. So you do with what you have. You do not say, I'm never going to drink rainwater. I'm never going to harvest water because I can't get what is ideal. Until you get what is ideal, you use what you have, because it's better than the pipe water anyway, because the pipe is actually made of metal that corrodes. Okay. So other than that, you need your pipes and fittings. That's about it to be able to connect those individual parts together. So love, can you load the...
Okay, so now let us look at our rain harvesting system.
I see I am, but load it up now.
All right, so we're gonna load up our 3D design for the rain harvesting system, and that would assist with a lot of the questions. So I expect to get a lot of questions as we go through actually looking at the system. So at each point, feel free to ask questions. This is where we can ensure that you understand and that we're actually meeting your needs. So let's just give it a little bit of time here.
Oh boy. Not too anything to do. With a laptop. Put something.
Okay, so
Now I have to close it again.
okay, just give it a little bit of time.
Shut down.
Okay, so just give me 1 more minute. Let me just share that again.
There we go. There we go.
Okay, so can everybody see the screen?
Jump in. How would you know? You can see them?
Yeah, you can see this. Yeah.
You can see the hand? All right. So I'm gonna explain the system and you're gonna see the setup and all the connections in between. Ready? So we explained, so we start with the roof, and then the water gets into the gutter, and from the gutter we have the downpipe, and the water then goes into, everybody's seen everything up now. The water then goes through this pre-filter. And can somebody tell me what the purpose of this? What's the purpose of the pre-filter?
Oh, we have a hand.
Oh, we have a hand. Okay, sorry.
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, well, when I answer the purpose, I think of the pre-filter is to move all the trash and the
debris.
Yeah, the leaves and stuff.
debris.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Wonderful.
But I wanted to mention before that
Mhm.
when you were questioning stainless steel, a stainless steel drum is like buying a house, right?
I didn't know
So
that. No
it's
wonder we don't have
expensive.
it in the Caribbean. No wonder we don't have it.
It's very expensive. It's
Okay.
very expensive, right? And the with the plastic drum, and if you're worried about the chemical, in my estimation, uh, making it note that in my estimation, that the charcoal filter would be
Ideal.
applicable in removing 90 odd percent of whatever you might concern, because it's
Yeah,
still
Okay.
I see what you're
better
saying.
than having alkaline water. The
Yeah.
Okay.
EV, the UV filter would have to be
Mm-hmm.
changed once a year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I just make it, and then on your roof, so that steep roof, the gutter would have to be wide enough because your collection will run off and run over and don't go into the gutter
Yes.
for such a
Yes.
steep roof like that.
Yes. Oh, and let me just add, a steep roof stays clean for longer too, because the debris wouldn't stay on it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm just explaining when you're building with a steep roof like that, you have to go broader gutters. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So you catch the excess water into your tank and you get the
Yes.
drippings in the tank. All right?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for sharing, bro.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
I see you. You're really into country living, so I like that.
No,
Thank you
I
so
set
much.
up my water system, but I don't set up
Oh, nice.
Oh,
sophisticated like how you set it up.
okay, nice,
Okay.
nice.
Right.
All right, yeah, I'm good.
Any other questions?
All right, so then on this roof, I have two systems, one on the left, one on the right. They both connected to each other. However, I treated the two sides of the roof, and I gave each of them a filter, and that is because redundancy is better. If you have only one system, one filtration system, because this is the source, the roof is the source of the water. If I only have one first flush system or one pre-filter system, if that pre-filter system is down, then my entire water harvesting operation is out. So I have two of them. Here you see the example of a small first flush filter. I have a way bigger first flush filter, because I want to be able to take a lot of the rain and a lot of the things that I don't want to drink. I want to take it out the system. Now, you also need, for the first flush system, now that we have, yes, hello,
The design of a house and a water system.
beg your pardon? Can you repeat the question, please?
Or you could, or you could post it in the chat. Okay, so okay, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, it was a mistake.
Okay.
So now that we have the water in the first flush system, we need to get it out.
So here's the first flush system right here. If you can see the mouse on it's on both sides of the roof.
Yeah, it's on both sides of the roof. However, the pipe, let me zoom in there. Oh yeah, so after this is full, after this cell is full and it's shut off, then the water will go down through the pipe and they were connected. Oh boy. They're connected at the bottom here. It is in my way out.
Pick it up.
There she's done.
You can put it in the bottom.
In the bottom. Okay. Thank you, brother. Right, so they all connected in the bottom there. Now, it is very important to be able to shut off every part of the system for whatever maintenance that you need to do. So these red symbols there, that's just a symbol. I didn't want to go through the whole hassle of joining an actual pipe head and everything. That's a lot of work. So this red, every time you'll see red, that is a valve, a valve to be able to shut off the system. So if I need to work on the tanks, or I need to cut a pipe here, I need to be able to prevent the water that is in the tanks from backing up and coming back out. So then you need to have those. Okay. In the system. All right.
I see a hand question.
Let me take out the ground.
Oh, come on, yeah. Okay, listen to me now. You see where it's critical? You don't want those red lock off to be on your main tank for flushing. You need the metal ones because these tend to work not so good after 10 T
Yeah.
in the sun.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
but it's
then
still according to what you can find where you are too as well.
yeah, but I'm just saying the main
Yeah.
part, the one that comes out of the tank to feed the rest of the thing, you want that at least try and get even one of them, a brass lock off. It's a bit more expensive, but when you consider that if anything should happen, these plastic ones don't work as efficient as the brass ones.
Yeah.
And especially if you have thousands of gallons of water there.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of
Important,
pressure. Yeah.
right? And another thing too, where did I go? Another thing with, oh, it missed me. When I get it back again, I will tell you.
All right.
No problem. Thank you so much for
It just
sharing.
missed me a while ago.
All right.
But it will come back. Yeah,
Okay.
man.
So from the house, we have, yes, I have a flush for system. This is actually the ideal system that I want. However, our system only have 2 tanks. Our system only have 2 tanks, but so then the water comes into this first tank. Now this water is still not drinkable. Yes, it went through the pre-flush filter, but there's still stuff that would have gotten through. So this first tank of water is what I would use to water my garden and wash the vehicle, flush, maybe if you have a flushing toilet, flush the toilet, do things that doesn't require clean water. Maybe even wash clothes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So then that water in that tank, have a view up from up? Yeah, from up. So the water in that tank, if you look closely, yeah, what am I doing there? The water comes in through the tank, fills up, and I only take water from the top. If you notice, the water, when it fills up and gets to the top here, I have to be able to edit that. Let me see. Here we go. Yeah, that look. So when the water fills up, oh man, there we go. That took a while. So when the water comes up to fill here, it will continue to flow into this tank until it gets to where the water is no longer able to go into the system. As long as the other side of it is submerged under water, the water will continue to sink down until it gets there. Now I can only use, if you notice, I can only use the very top of the water to go into the tank. So whatever came into the first chamber, whatever debris made it through would settle into the bottom air, and that I'll use for the garden. So only the cleanness of the water when the tank is full would make its way into the second chamber on the other side. All right. So then that is called sediment filtration. So you allow the water to settle, the sediment sinks to the bottom, the cleaner water stays on the top, and the cleaner water then can move over to the other side of the rain harvesting system. All right, so let me turn it back. So then I can, that water now, I can still use it as long as I keep this chamber, let me the laser, as long as I keep this chamber here, and that one closed, then I can now drain the water through the bottom and use it for whatever I want. If I open all of them, then I will be able to allow the water to flow freely from one tank to another. So I keep doing the sediment filtration from one tank, taking from the top to this tank, taking from the top. So by allowing it to settle, the water that gets there is already cleaner. Now, the other thing you want to do as well, you want to be able to harvest the water as close to the gutter height, the guttering height as possible. The higher up you harvest the water, then the better able you are to distribute it over the landscape. If you harvest the water really low, outside of having a pump, if you're using gravity, you cannot use gravity to get the water higher than you store it. So you want to be able to store that water as high as possible. Based on the height that I have the water here in the house, I can use the water for shower, I can use the water in the bathroom. That's actually how my system is. If I store the water down here, then I would need to use a pump to get it up. So you want to harvest the water as high as you possibly can. Okay, love, if they have hands, I wouldn't know. Yeah. Yeah, so then after doing all that filtration, the very last step, at this level, that water here is drinkable. And this is the water here that I've been drinking for 7 years. Taking from the top, allowing things to settle, then it makes itself to the second chamber, then it fills up, things settle in the bottom, the top is cleaner, it moves its way to the third chamber, and this is the water I've been drinking for 7 years now. And I feel I actually can taste my water compared to the water you get in a pipe. So, but now if you want to do, no, wait a minute. If you want to do filtration, however, this is the water that you use and you pump it through your filter. And if you pump in it, then you can store it even higher than you previously had it. So then here, you run it through your filters, and then now you can get to store this water higher than even your roof. So now that I'm storing the water, this last chamber, higher than the roof, I can actually use this water upstairs in the house. So I can actually use this water higher than the roof using gravity. I only need the pump to push the water through the filter and to store it. So that chamber here can remain full of water, drinkable water at all points. So this is like my reservoir. This is the water that you only run for drinking. You don't run it, well, I said the shower, but I wouldn't use it for the shower. I mean, it just cost me a lot to, my solar panels just work. I pumped it up there. I'm not gonna use it for anything but drinking. If I have to bathe, I'll use all this water down here to bathe. If I have to water the garden, I'll use the water down here to water the garden. The only thing that your water system needs after this is to be able to flush itself. I see that just disappeared, love, but I had a flush thing on board. Maybe it came off on the layer that I took out. Maybe it was on the ground layer. No, the ground is. All right, so then now you need, oh no, that's not the place that needs to flush. It's this one that will flush, yeah, because that one cannot flush. That one, whenever it's full, the pump is shut off. So this one here has to have an overflow. So the more it rains, the cleaner your system gets, because the water is able to move. Sorry about that, my laptop freezing up. The water is able to come fill here, the clean go there, the cleaner goes there, and then the system would just keep flushing itself. I have a thing there, but that's not necessary. The only thing is make sure you have a mesh. Make sure your tanks are properly covered. For demonstration, I have the tanks uncovered, so that no mosquitoes, no frogs, no toads, no nothing can get into the water. Now, the other thing too, if you notice, I have it here. I only drink water from the top. So inside the tank, there's a hose here. The hose is fully extended, and the hose is on a flotation device. So I'm only drinking from the top. I never drink water from the bottom. I only drink from the top. So the cleaner water is always on the top because the sediment goes to the bottom. So by only taking from the top, I ensure that the water I use is the better of the water. And the water from the bottom, I have a separate pipe for that. I use that for washing the vehicle, washing the house, and washing whatever I need to wash. Water in the garden even. Any questions? Hello, baby. Yes, baby. Oh, I can't see hands. No hand?
Okay, one hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Let me get it. You say use a hose. That hose can be like a PVC pipe too, right?
Yes, that
And
always can be a PVC pipe as well. The only thing about a PVC pipe is it will not be able to go up and down with the changing of the water surface. So you'd have to just store it at a certain height, and then you only use water above. So then if I was to use a PVC, I would have the pipe a little lower, maybe like halfway into the tank, so that I only take from the top. But then I would need another pipe so that the water that's in the bottom, that's the dirtier water, that I can get it out the system. So especially if it's rain a lot and I see all my water is overflowing, then I would open the bottom pipes. So the water that has the little dust and stuff in it, I would flush it out. So the cleaner water would be what is in the system. So I can flush the system.
oh, so you make it that you flush it every time you have heavy rain.
Yes, every time I have heavy rain, the system flushing itself, the way it's designed. And if I'm not satisfied with how it's flushing the system, I can let me just change the camera here. I can manually, my laptop, the laptop not can run the software, the laptop, let me tell you. And I actually have a lot of information on that software for that. So okay, here we go. So laptop freezing. So let me change. I'll go to the front. That's the front. Yeah, that's the front. So if you notice these pipes, oh, I have it. Oh, I drew it wrong. I drew it wrong. Okay, I drew it wrong. I drew it wrong. Those pipes supposed to be water that goes to the house. It's not supposed to be connected. Yeah, it's not supposed to be connected to each other. However, you'd need another set of pipes from the bottom as low as you can. I mean, not the very bottom. The actual height that the pipe comes with, the drums come with, that height, you'd be able to flush the system by simply opening it, because the water in the bottom would be the first to flow out. However, for the water that goes to the house, you want the water that is on the top. That's the cleaner water, not the very surface, because the very surface might still have little things floating. Possible, highly unlikely, but possible. But you want the water that is maybe say about 6 inches below the surface. Yeah, that's the water you want. So you need, yeah. So a hose is great because you could actually set the hose to hang 6 inches below the surface. Yeah. So that's, yeah. I see a second hand.
So you're saying that the hose will move with
the changing. Yes. As the water, the hose will move. Yeah. So then if your system remains full all the time, then you're always getting the best water.
I guess somebody has signed it up. I have to use a little more reason.
Yeah, I know. I like talking to you because you sound knowledgeable. So yeah. But let's get somebody else. Yeah. The second hand, who's the second hand? Ivan? No, you want to say
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Hi,
Go
good
ahead,
evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm not too long joined because I was doing something before, but just for honest, I just wanted to find out if I understand something, right? So if you could go back to where you were seeing like inside the tanks with the ball and the hose.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, what's the purpose of that?
Okay. The ball and the hose is to ensure that you only drinking remember we're doing rain harvesting, right? So you want the best, cleanest water is the water at the top, because whatever is particles would have made it into your system, they would have settled in the bottom. So having a hose with a flotation, it doesn't have to be a ball, with something floating, it keeps the even if the tank came with an entryway in the bottom here, what else is it? It ensure, oh no, that's not PowerPoint. It keeps, well, I guess I could circle it.
Okay. So where is the hose would
ensure that you're always drinking from the top part of the tank.
So even though, oh, you have it.
Yeah.
Okay. So even though you have it, okay, let me just.
Now with the software, if I lower the height of the water, the tank, not the hose will not go down because that software is limited. But if the water was really low, like he was suggesting a pipe. With the pipe, when the water gets really low, then the cleaner of the water would be out. So that's one suggestion, that you could have the pipe, say halfway or three-quarter way, that you ensure what if you're using the water for drinking, and that'll be the very last tanker. The very last tank, if you're using it for drinking, you still only taking from the best of what the tank has to offer, which is the very top of the water.
Wait, so okay, the hose is open like a straw to take water from the top.
Say that
That's
again?
what's happening there?
No, a hose. That the software is limited. I cannot do it's not animation, so I cannot do a hose that if I drop the surface of the water, it will adjust. So in our imagination, you have to imagine this is the hose. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you want to help us? Yeah.
No, but that's okay. That's okay. I think I understand what you're saying. As the water is dropping, it's like a straw, right? So the water will be lower than the
Yes, so it's like a
yeah,
straw.
yeah, it's like a straw. Yeah.
Okay, because what happened, I thought the board was connected to the top of the hose. So I was trying to understand.
Yeah, it's connected. It is connected. It is connected because the ball is what controls the height that the hose is below the surface. So when that software cannot do it, like I said, but when the water surface drops, the ball will drop as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So the ball is for like you to see the level of the water, or
no.
It's for the
just to keep the hose. How do I explain it? Like if there's a ball in this, when the surface of the water goes up, the ball would go up. So then by having the hose and the ball at certain heights, I ensure that I am always taking water from the top. So I keep the hose floating. So when the water level goes down a little, I'm still only taking from the top of the tank. Without the hose, whenever you open the pipe with a water tank, you're taking from the bottom. It doesn't even matter. If you just install the tank however you buy it, whenever you open the tank, open the tap, you always get the water from the bottom, which is the worst of the water. However, you want to be able to take the best of the water, which is in the top. So then you put a hose in there, you have to connect it, and then the hose and a flotation device will ensure you get water from the top, which is the best of the water.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look into your tank, you'd see that the water actually changes color on its way down. If you have a tank, even if you have no filtration, you realize the cleaner water is always at the top, and there's always a little muck or something in the bottom of the tank, especially if you have a tank that's been there for a long time. Because the way we install tanks, they are not designed to flush. The tank just has entry and exit. It doesn't have nothing for flushing or anything like that. You would have to manually add something to flush the system. I could be on the same line if you want. Yeah. Yeah, but I love the question. Yeah, I hope I answer your question.
Yeah, I understand the cleaner water on top. I understand that part. I'm not really too sure what's the function of the ball per se, but I understand the majority of what you're saying. But the hose being on top so you can clean.
Yeah, the ball has a rope on it connected to the hose to float the end of the hose, because the hose can't float by itself.
Similar to the toilet bowl.
Yeah, so the ball has a
similar to the toilet bowl. So when you flush the toilet, the bubble
it drops down. Yeah,
it drops down. And when it's filled, it goes up.
But that's a different function.
It's a different function.
Yeah.
It's just that with the hose and the ball
keeps the end of the hose up.
Always up. So
if you just drop the hose in the tank, the hose will just fall to the bottom. And it doesn't even matter having the
I didn't know the ball was floating the hose. Okay, I thought it was like a piece of PVC.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so now I answer. All right, so now I answer your question.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks so much. Huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I see Brent, Mr. Brent.
Yes, sir. Good night. Good night to you. Good night to everyone. Appreciate there's some really solid stuff you're presenting here, and I'm thankful for it. I have one question, and So that has to do with, just backing back up a little bit, when your water goes through your pre-filter and your first flush system, right? My question as it relates to this diagram that you're having here, is it that when it comes out the first flush system, I'm wondering, is it using purely gravity to go into the first tank that you have set up there?
All right, I like your question. So then, all right, so then the water fills up this first system. The water that fills up the first flush does not find a way into the tank. So I'll say that first of all. Now, I'll draw a level line. Gravity gets the water into the tank. I'll show you. Water stays at the same level. Just now, let me just change the angle of the camera so everybody can see.
So to get into your first tank, you do not use gravity. You use gravity.
Use gravity. Just let me just change the angle and I'll draw a level line. So from here, I'm gonna draw a level line. When it turns red, it's level. Just now, hold on. Okay, that's red. Wait a minute. Yeah. So this is level. Disappeared. The red color disappeared. So then, as long as the water is higher than over there, the water will naturally flow into the tank over there. It doesn't matter how far it runs. It doesn't matter. This is just how water operates. Water sits at the same level. You don't need any pump to take the water from here to get over there, as long as here, this place here, is higher than over there. Now, the water will never fill higher than this point here. So all up to this, wait, let me see, nothing. So as long as this point, the place I just put the new line, maybe my software crashing on me. As long as the pre-filter, if it's properly sealed, is higher than your water tank, the water will move into the tank. You don't need any pump at all. It doesn't matter how far away it is. As long as the pre-filter is higher than your tank, the water will move into the tank. The only thing that can prevent it is air, but if your pipes are big enough, the air will come out. The air is negligible. Only for small pipes, the air would matter. I hope did I answer your question?
Yeah, surely, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. That's just the beauty of gravity. Gravity will get it there for you. That's a free resource. Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Guys, please feel free to ask questions. I want you guys to be able to do this for yourselves on your country location. I just add the only reason you need a filter is to well, a micron filter is if you really have, maybe you have less tanks as well, then you would need to get a micron filter to run the water through so that it can be even cleaner. But the more chambers you have doing the sediment filtration, only taken from the top into the next chamber, only taken from the top into the next chamber, the more the more tanks you have, then the cleaner the water will be on the other end. But it's very important to have these chambers perfectly sealed. So you need, the system has two openings. The top of the first pre-filter that needs to be perfectly sealed at all times. Mosquitoes will fly their way into your system. And if you have mosquitoes in your system, then the water is not good. And the top of the tanks is another place that you need to get perfectly sealed. So it's good. Don't trust the tank tops that screw on. They are absolutely best. The ones that just rest on, I would still put a wire mesh inside of there, across the top of the lid. I'd still put weight on the top of the lid to ensure it doesn't come out. Some of the tanks, if you use the actual thing they make to lock it, it may make the lid sit a little higher than it's supposed to. So I'll put weight. I'll put mosquito netting under the tank lid, cover it. And the other place that you would need to keep covered is the other exit, that is the overflow. When it rains a lot and all the systems are full, the water needs to go somewhere. So that is this pipe here, your overflow. I mean, put a nice drain or get it into your pond or something. That was for explanation purposes. That bottom end, I would need to have mesh on it. Now I was supposed to take pictures of my system because I didn't buy a lot of these things. I made a lot of them myself. Like my pre-filter, I use 6-inch PVC pipe and scotch tape and mosquito netting, and I made my pre-filter. I cut the pipe at an angle, and I made my pre-filter. So creativity is your friend. Any hands, Michelle? Yeah. Any
Yeah,
more questions, guys?
yeah, all right. I see what you do there, right? And I realize that based on my playing around with
Mm-hmm.
water, I realized that when you pipe from bottom up, sort of just stretch your mind. You see, if you had a pipe that comes from up the that top level that you have at the top there, but you're drinking water,
Mm-hmm.
the highest one.
Yeah.
If you have the pipe that goes across to the house and pipe to the shower, you'll get a better shower pressure than if it has to go down to come up.
Yes. 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 Oh, and the other thing I must say, I forgot to add that if we're using gravity to move the water around, we need bigger pipes than the 1/2 inch or the 3/4 pipes. You need 1 inch might even be too small, 1.25 inches and up. So then your plumbing in your house would have to have bigger pipes than the normal pipes because the 3/4 pipes are pressurized. That's pressurized water, but gravity flow, you need bigger pipes to get the same amount of pressure at the faucet. I forget to add that. So thanks for reminding me of that.
Yeah.
And yes, so then if you get the pipe straight across from the bottom, then you will have more pressure for sure than having to take all the bends that they would take. You're correct for that.
Cool.
Yeah. Because every bend would reduce the pressure a little. I guess everybody understand or just
I
nobody understand? Yes.
My question is, I came in late,
Yeah.
but just listening to what you're saying, my question is, how do you keep the water from forming algae or any type of bacteria? Like, how do you keep your water clean? I mean, I know you keep on saying that you just take the top part of the water that flushes into the other ones, but in the containers, doesn't that form algae or any form of bacteria?
Yeah. I like that question. But algae for sure. Algae is light. If light get into the water, then the light will call algae. Bacteria. I don't know. I tell you what I do. I pay attention to the water. For some time to time, I'll look at it. I would smell it. I would taste it. I would test it from time to time. And if the water quality is getting questionable, then I would add, oh Lord, I forgot. There's a measurement of bleach to water ratio. I would add a couple drops of bleach to the, I forget, let me tell you, I forget what the bleach, but you can use bleach to kill off some of the bacteria that's in the water. But I would do that just before a rain. So then if I know it's gonna rain, then I would add some bleach in there to kill off whatever is there. And then when the rain come in, then the rain would reset my system. But what the main thing is, whenever it rains heavily, my system would flush itself because the water passes through the system. So then when it rains heavily, the overflow is like like a spring. The overflow is like a waterfall. Just water comes through and the system just keeps flushing itself because the clean rain from the sky after it's rained a long time would be ideal for the system. So if the water stays in it for a long time, then yes, the water will become questionable. But there's ways of treating it. You could get a test to test the water. I mean, you could get, you could get the water tested to know its quality. You could buy a water test kit. So yeah, that's another thing you can do. Just keep, because it's a organic system. It's not a open the pipe and it's good system. It's a system you have to maintain. It's a system you have to keep checking. You have to ensure that it's up to par. However, if you can run it through the filters like we had in the slide, the micron filters, and with the UV lights. So then the micron filters will take out the particles and the UV light will take out the viruses, and then the water will still be good.
So, okay, one question. So you're saying that these water, these small tanks, you use the small tanks to do your filtration. What do you call it? Filtration? You use those 3 barrels that you have, you go up and down inside there.
Yeah.
You'd want that for like 200 gallons or so.
No. These tanks there are about 800 gallons.
Oh,
the bigger the tanks, the better. No, that's not 200 gallons. That's not the blue tanks. That's 800 gallons. The system I have one 800 and one 600. And I want, you see the last tank up there? I want to get 1,000 gallons. So then that would be my 1,000-gallon tanks, because I want the cleanest water to have the most storage. These are the tanks, if they empty out for gardening purposes, that doesn't affect me, as long as my big tank with the filtered clean water is always full. So then, yeah, so then I thank you for telling me that. I didn't mention the size of the tanks. So then the bigger your tanks, the better. If you could avoid a little blue gallons, use a little blue gallons for flush if you have to, or use them for extra storage if you have to. But for your rain harvest system, you want big tanks. You want that if you assess your size of your roof, you want that a light rain doesn't overwhelm your system. You want the heavy rains to have a little work to do to fill your system and then flush it. Yeah, but that will also depend on your water needs too, how much water you have. But trust me, you will never have too much water stored, because you never know what is coming in the pipeline or what the future is going to be like. So the more water you can store, the better. Yeah. But if nobody have a question, I guess we'll end early. Oh, right. Okay.
No, man. I'm saying, oh, somebody else.
Yeah, I see Brother Brent. Yeah, Brother Brent raises
let Brent go and then I'll come back.
All right. Actually, there's a question in the chat first. I think Ina was asking, can you make a cement tank as well?
A cement tank. Yes, you can make a cement tank. You can make a cement tank, but I would not advise using or drinking water from a cement tank. Yeah, I guess you could maybe use it for a garden, a cement tank. Yeah, because if you pay attention to concrete, the limes in the concrete leaks out all the time. If you ever look at a roof that has water, a concrete roof that has water on it, you notice these these white stalagmites or stalactites, what do you want to call it? So then the concrete leaks all the time. So it's not the best for drinking, but it's you can.
The thing is, if you don't want to drink it, you don't want to feed it to your plants either.
No, but the plants are different from us, though.
Yeah, but you don't feed something to your plants if you don't.
No, the plant actually like bacteria and minerals and stuff like that. The plants can handle the minerals. So then I would, yeah, as extra storage, I'll have it, but for drinking, I do not recommend that for drinking. And plus the chemicals you have to use to seal up the tank. No, I don't think it's a good idea. That's just me personally. And based on the real research I've done, I wouldn't recommend for drinking concrete tanks. I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay. All right. So just I'll ask my question now. Which is, okay, using your system again, here's the model. After the third tank, you have a pump that takes it up to this higher tank, right?
Yeah.
If now you discussed tank pumps earlier on, and I'm guessing in this system here using an electrical pump.
Yes.
But what are your suggestions? Because I'm thinking off grid and maybe electricity may or may not be an issue. But my question is for manual. If you're going manual, what would you suggest to pump it up to the high tank?
Yeah. That's why I love questions, because I actually forgot to put that in the slide. So earlier, one of the first slides I showed about pumps, I showed a hand pump. that you can use. You could have it in the kitchen, as a matter of fact. You can use it to pump water. Now, using filtration, let me see if I can make this happen right now. That the filter would have to be just now. Let me just change the camera there. So then from this tank, instead of having it go to a separate filter, you could have a filter on this line here. So let me just draw something there. So then you could have a filter just now. I'm just gonna do a makeshift filter, guys. Bear with me. Huh? Could have a makeshift filter, say a charcoal filter or something you build here. So the water would run. The water would run through the charcoal filter. That'll be perfectly sealed. Or sand and charcoal filter. The water would run here and through the pipe. Now to run the water through the charcoal filter, then you use the pump in your house to get the water there quickly, or use gravity and have a separate storage tank, but then you'd have to be able to pump it because that water now is lower than the house. Except if you can perfectly seal it, the water will get there, but the filter is going to limit the flow of the water. So if you're going to run it through a charcoal and sand filter, then you would need to have some kind of device to pull the water through the filter, or some device to push the water through the filter. Okay, yeah. So then it is possible to adapt it and have a filter on that system.
Yep. So right, actually appreciate that. My question here was about just switching out again using the model that you have here from the third tank into that higher tank. Is it possible to use a manual pump to get that water up there?
Yeah, yes you can. Yes you can. You can get, or you could get a solar pump. They have solar pumps. They have yeah, they have solar pumps you could use. But they have manual pumps that can get the water up there for sure. Just check, look for manual water pumps. You could build one. You could actually build a manual water pump. If you check on YouTube, it just slipped me that I didn't add it to the presentation. Yeah, so it's possible to build one as well. But you can add a filter on the system. I just kind of drew one there, so that's a filter. You can add a filter on the system.
All right, great. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Micro time now. Listen to this. Yeah, it has to be important to know that with that 1,000 gallon or that 800 gallon, that is 8,000 pounds to 8 gallon or 10,000 pounds.
Yes.
That structural support has to be ready to deal with that, because that is like building. That is like building another house there, so you know.
Yeah. That is so true.
And so you have to maximize. Yeah. If you are thinking about going to the country, and I understand what you're trying to do, you know, you're trying to educate us on the various variables.
Yes.
But that situation there with those weight on top, would you advise putting in the proper structure to live underneath that all you alone?
No. That's why it's away from the house. No, you don't live under that. No, I wouldn't live under that at all. Yeah, that's why I have it away from the house. Nah.
I wouldn't, unless I'm desperate, really.
Yeah.
I would really structure it that way.
Yeah.
It can be done. But I'm just saying, you have to be cost effective when you're dealing with this. You know?
But I believe it's best to have your water away from the house. The other reason too, if there's a fire, you don't want the first thing to go with the house is the water. You want to at least be able to have that water help you out whatever fire that is on the property. So having the water away from the house is a very good practice.
Okay.
Yeah. Although a lot of us put water on the roof, but that is using pumps and everything. So, well, the water is already pressurized, so we can get it onto the roof. But if gravity, you would have to put in that pressure that you were looking for. change the color any more questions, guys? If there's no more questions. Love the chat. Yes. So you could use a solar pump and no for the cement tank. And there are videos on YouTube about building a charcoal filter. There are videos about building a sun filter. What I'm saying is, guys, it is possible to harvest rainwater and use it for your health. It's better than the water in the pipe. It's not alkaline water. It's nice, pure, clean water that the Lord provided. What you have to take in consideration is the condition of the air, and it's good to get the water tested. And if you feel intimidated, get somebody that is really acquainted. YouTube, I have a lot of resources about rain harvesting. That's actually why I learned about this. So use the resources, and you can always contact us with questions or anything. And if nobody is have any more questions, then we'll have to close. Mitchell, I need you. Come pray first. Come pray first. We have no more questions. Wait. It is still awake? Come back. I just pray. Okay, well, let's pray again, guys. Thank you so much for participating. I really appreciate it. Okay. So especially Mr. Jamaica, I forget the name. I like your questions. Your questions help me remember the things I forgot to put in the slide. So wonderful. Let's pray. Father, we want to thank you for your goodness and your love, Lord, as we share one with another, Lord. Our hope is to be obedient to the call. So, Father, we pray that you provide for us according to your riches and glory, Lord. Whatever skills we lack, whatever knowledge we lack, Lord, help us to, by association, Lord, by reading, by exposure, by fellowship, that we'll be able to learn from each other, because everyone has a role to play. Help us to be helpful and to share what you've taught us, so we can all be more ready to represent you and do this in a way that would not bring reproach unto your name. Be first throughout the night and have a wonderful night rest. That's my prayer. Amen.
And we cannot leave without our song.
Stop the recording.
Right? We cannot leave without our song.